What's good, fam? We back, and today Akai has finally released the MPC 2.11.5 update. Now, the 2.11.4 update was recently released a few weeks back. For me, it was a lot underwhelming and didn't give me the desired fixes that I was looking for, so I did not report on it. Now, I'm happy to say that in 2.11.5, we finally get all of the bug fixes that we have long been asking for. Follow me. Now we're going to get straight into it. The first thing that I want to announce for you is that Splice has finally been fully fixed. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you now, top to bottom. Let's go on over to the MPC Live 2. Now here we are on the MPC Live 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my browser. Now in the browser, we're going to go to Places. And as you can see, I have 3 storage locations on my MPC Live 2. I have the internal storage, and there is no Splice folder on the internal storage. And if you paid attention to any of my videos in the past, you know that I do not recommend using the internal storage at all. Next, we have an SD card installed into the back of the Live 2. Now on this SD card, there is a Splice folder there, but I'm going to completely get rid of it. So I'm going to hold down the Shift button and select Delete File. And then confirm it by pressing Delete again. So that Splice folder is completely gone. Now I'm going to go to my MPC Live 2 internal SSD drive. Now that I'm in my internal SSD drive, I'm going to scroll down to the Splice folder and I'm going to delete that also completely. Hold down Shift, delete file, press delete again. Now there are no Splice folders on any of my storage locations in my MPC Live 2. Now we're going to go to the menu and we're going to go to Preferences. We're going to go down to Splice, which is all the way at the bottom. That's where we already are. Now, before we do anything, we want to make sure that the proper storage location is selected. If you do not have your storage location selected, select Change. And from here, you want to select the storage location where you want to install your Splice directory. In my case, it's going to my MPC internal SSD drive. Now from here, all you have to do is select Update. It says it has found 505 samples in my Splice library. Now I know my Splice library is very small compared to some of you all. I do use Splice, but I don't use it very often. I create my own loops. Sometimes I add Splice samples in here and there. Now I'm going to select Sync, and it will begin updating and syncing all of our Splice files to our MPC properly. While we're waiting on Splice to update, please stand by for a word from this video's sponsor. I just wanted to jump in here to let you know that this video has been brought to you by MotionVFX. If you don't know what MotionVFX is, they provide video editing tools for Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, and Adobe Premiere. These plugins are drag and drop, very easy to use and highly customizable. They also have templates, LUTs, and transitions to fit any style. It doesn't matter if you need plugins for YouTube, music videos, or anything that you want, they have plugins to fit all of your needs. Feel free to check out MotionVFX. The link is in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Now it says that our download has completed. It has successfully synced 505 files. We're going to click OK. Now we're going to go to our browser by double tapping Menu. We're going to go to Content and we're going to tap on Splice. Now before, a lot of these folders were not working properly. and now they are correctly working. So we're gonna go into all of our samples. Audition is turned on. Scroll as far as I need to. So all of our samples are now working properly. All of the additional folders are working properly as well. And now, just to show you that we are using Splice on our internal SSD and not the default built-in storage location, let's go back to Places. And this is the Splice folder on the internal added SSD, not the default built-in storage. As you can see, now we can finally rejoice. Splice has finally been properly fixed. No more workarounds, it just finally works again. Now, in controller mode, for people using any MPC on Windows computers, the data dial no longer has to use 2 clicks in order to change selections. That has been fixed. That was a Windows only bug, but now it has been fixed. Now, also additionally, for people who like to make beats on the fly or in live situations, the next sequence feature has been updated. It now shows sequence names on the pads instead of just in a list, so you can actually see what sequence you're going to if you have it properly named. Now, as far as activating plugins, there have been some people that have had issues downloading the instruments in standalone to their MPC. That has also now been fixed, and you should no longer have problems downloading the instruments. Additionally, if you do happen to have problems downloading the instruments, you can still use the MPC Synth Content Manager to download and add your sounds onto your MPC for standalone and controller mode use. Now, in addition to that, I know that I said the MPC 2.11.4 update was a little underwhelming for me. I didn't notice very many changes to the MPC 2.11.4, but the biggest change that I did note was in pad performance. So let's have a look at that now. As many of you have noticed, the octave button has been moved. It was right here under the scale selection, and now it has been moved to the bottom of the screen. So now if you want to change octaves in pad perform, you press the plus or minus buttons at the bottom of the screen to navigate your octaves. In addition, a lot of people don't happen to know this, but the octave is tied directly to the root note of the scale now. If you don't want to use the plus and minus buttons to select the octave, and you want to do it faster, and you also know exactly what octave you want to move to, then you can either press the data dial in on the MPC Live 2, or double tap the root note letter on the screen, which is what I'm going to do now. So this brings up all of the root notes for you to choose from inside the scale. We're going to stay on A. Now, there is a back arrow. You tap that back arrow, and it shows you all of the available octaves. And just like that, we've changed to octave 8. And I'm pretty sure there's no sounds on octave 8. Oh, it's very high, very, very high. That is the only thing that I noticed from the 2.11.4 update outside of a lot of small minor bug fixes. The bug fixes that we really wanted and people have been asking for since 2.11 came out are the ones that we're finally getting today. And that is Splice being fixed, the data dial double click being fixed, the instrument downloader being fixed so that that works properly, and a lot of the crashes that were happening should now be fixed. With that being said, does that mean that this update is perfect? Absolutely not. But it's a lot closer to being perfect than it was yesterday. So in closing, I want to say thanks for watching the video. There's a lot more in store. And for all of the people who helped me get over 6,000 subscribers, I salute you. I appreciate you, and I'm out.